Hi, welcome to today's episode of Tomorrow's Leader, where we dive deep on all things leader related. I am John Laurito, your host. And I get asked a question a lot of times. Okay, you talk about Tomorrow's Leader. You have a podcast, you have a book coming out called Tomorrow's Leader. What is Tomorrow's Leader? What is Tomorrow's Leader all about? How would you describe Tomorrow's Leader? And it's a great question because I think the leader in the future is a very different type of leader. And I think there are leaders today that operate the same way they did 5, 10 years ago. And they are ultimately leaders, if they continue to operate the same way, that won't be in leadership roles. They won't be effective influencers. They won't be individuals that really help people achieve what they want to achieve, or organizations achieve what they want to achieve. So how I would describe it is with one sentence. Tomorrow's leader is a highly versatile leader who attracts and develops A-talent people and helps people and influences people to take actions around a very compelling vision. Okay, so let me say that again. Tomorrow's leader is a highly versatile leader, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, who attracts and develops top A-level talent and helps them and influences them to take actions around a compelling vision. So that, to me, in a sentence, is what Tomorrow's Leader is about. And I'm going to break this up into a couple different episodes, but I want to talk today about versatility and one part of versatility, because versatility means a lot. I've done some past episodes on what versatility is, and it's really a leader's ability to understand, to see different trends and how landscape and circumstances are changing their scenario, their organization's circumstances, and they're able to adapt to those changing circumstances. It is a challenging aspect of leadership, and very few leaders are really, really good at it. But that's a broad definition of it. So I want to talk about one part of leadership versatility. Yes, it has to do with changing your leadership style, your communication style, your leadership approach based on different circumstances and the readiness of your follower. But it also has a lot to do with helping people adapt and acclimate to change. And I just think about this year, 2020, whenever you might be listening to this, but it's 2020. We have had more change in this year than probably 10 years combined. I mean, just think about this. Everybody's world has changed dramatically. And I'm not just talking about work. Work has changed dramatically. I mean, everybody has had to learn, for the most part, almost everybody has had to learn how to work from home. And kids have had to learn how to adapt to school at home. We've had to learn how to change our whole lives, our whole rhythm, our whole way of living our life, and our whole way of socializing. We've had to change the way we have relationships. We've had to change, our financial situations have changed, our health situations have changed. Everything has changed, and it has not been by choice, but everybody's been pushed into this new environment. So anytime that happens, there's a lot of discomfort, there's a lot of pain. And what people are going to be looking for from leaders in the future are leaders that can help them adapt to that change and acclimate to that change and help them understand the change. What does it mean to me, and how can I achieve my goals the best way possible in this new environment, or what this new environment is going to look like in the future. So I look at this as one of the most essential things. I did a presentation recently, and I had asked the audience a question ahead of time. And it was an interesting question because I kind of posed it with the hopes of getting some honest answers and feedback. And the question that I had asked was in regards to change. In regards to change, I tend to, and it had different options. So as a leader, in regards to change, the option A was I tend to be the one to come up with the new ideas. I'm at the forefront of it. I lead it. The second option was, well, I'm one of the first to jump in. The third option was, well, I kind of sit and watch and usually let everybody else, or not everybody else, but a lot of people do it first, adapt to it, and then I jump in. The fourth answer was, I usually wait till the entire majority has jumped in, and I'm one of the last ones. And then the fifth one was, I don't like change. I fight it. I resist it as much as possible. I'd much rather stay on the current route. And it was interesting because this was a group of 150 leaders across the country leading different organizations. And a majority of those people indicated, those leaders indicated that they fell in the center, kind of like, which I would normally assume a normal bell curve. They fell kind of in that middle part. They were either, the early majority or the late majority. Very few of them were the early adopters. Very few of them were the innovators, the ones coming up with the ideas, which says a lot if you think about it. It says a lot because my point with this group was if you are leading an organization, very, very rarely will your team and your group and your organization adapt to change faster than you. It's rare that you might have somebody that's in your group that kind of jumps in front and starts to lead it. In other words, they kind of adopt your mentality rather. They adopt your pace and your willingness, receptivity, or resistance to change. So we can't expect our organization to be any different. So as a leader, now there's many things, and I've been part of organizations and running a small or even a large part of an organization that is bigger than me. So when you're in that situation, oftentimes you have change that's thrust upon you, just like we are in 2020, where we have to adapt, we have to figure it out, we have to chart a new course, we have to step outside our comfort zone. That's tough. Nobody likes to do that. Very few people like to do that. It's painful. But as a leader, it's that much more important for us to be good at it. Otherwise, our people are going to pay the price. And I'll give you an example. There's really three different ways that I look at it. A leader has three different choices when it comes to change. One is they can be part of leading it and be at the front of it. They can follow it, which kind of means you're kind of floating in a raft going with the current. Okay, you're not fighting it, but you're going with it. The third is you can resist it and you can fight it. Now, I know leaders, a lot of them that fight change. Now, in those three categories, I personally in my career have been in those three categories at different periods of time. I've been the one leading it, I've been the one following it, and I've also been the one resisting it. And I can give you a great example. I remember one of the times in my career, I was leading the largest office in the country for the organization that I was with at Ameriprise, and that was in Boston. We had about 120 advisors in this location. And I remember at that time, we had been one of the top in the country at recruiting. And I had always been focused and very good at recruiting. I loved recruiting. So we spent a lot of time, energy. We had great processes, systems. We had people involved. We had a great culture around recruiting. For years, we were really near or at the top. And our scorecard results reflected it, everything. We were at the top, very near consistently in the country. So Ameriprise had a shift in their strategy. They had decided to move in the direction of experienced advisor recruiting from novice recruiting. We had been used to recruiting people out of the industry, out of college, primarily into the career. We became very good at it. We knew the conversations we needed to have. We knew what type of people we were looking for. We knew every step of the process meticulously. And because of that, we were very, very good at it. So now enter this whole new strategy. Now, instead, we were now recruiting people that were already established in the business. They were at wirehouses, at other firms, doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 in business at that time with a large client base, and they were happy. So we were now trying to approach a totally different person with a totally different attitude, with a totally different level of expertise, and the conversations were totally different. We were having resistance and hitting up against a lot of resistance that we had never encountered before. Bottom line, it was really uncomfortable. It was hard. And we were experiencing failure for the first time. Now, I remember getting my team rallied around, okay, let's move in this direction. And they were uncomfortable with it. I was uncomfortable with it. I remember getting them all together. We'd make phone calls and we'd get, beat up and everything like that. And I made a critical error. We got to a point, I got so frustrated, and I hated the fact of leaving what we were doing that we were having so much success with, that old way of doing things in novice recruiting, that I made the decision, okay, let's actually go back to what we were doing. And eventually the company, this was my thought, eventually they're going to see the right in that. They're going to see the value of that, and they're going to support that again. I can't imagine this thing is going to stay because everybody's having a lot of challenges with it. So I made the decision to go back instead of lean into the change and work through that disillusioned learner phase that we were all experiencing at that time. If you don't know what that means, go back to one of my prior episodes a few weeks back. So consequently, we did. Now, what happened at that point? Our results started to go down because we were not doing the things that were being recognized and really supported by the company. We had other leaders across the company that were charging ahead, and now we're gaining a lot of momentum and now gaining a lot of significant distance between them and us. And we were still stuck in our old ways. Not only did our scorecard drop, but our the influence level that we had dropped, our stock price, so to speak, in the company dropped. I remember this feeling like, okay, wait a sec, we're going the wrong way here. At that point, it was almost too late because we had given up a sizable lead to some of the other leaders. And now we were well behind because we had decided to go back in the direction that we came. We just didn't like the change, so we went back to what we were comfortable with. And I think about this, it obviously affected me, but what bothers me more is the effect that I had on my team. I, as the leader, it's not about me. I, as the leader, did a disservice to the people in that organization and the leaders there because I did not lead them effectively. I resisted and they resisted, and we went back to what we knew and what was comfortable, and ultimately ended up being a really, really bad decision because Ameriprise stuck with their commitment. They're now one of the best, I think, firms out there with recruiting experienced advisors, and it only happened because they stuck with it. And most people that were smart decided, leaders saw where the puck was headed, and they stuck with it. That was a decision I made, one of the rare times in my career where I resisted change, and I saw the impact of that and the price that was paid, not just by me, but my organization. So leaders out there, realize the importance of your role and your attitude and your mentality and your actions in your organization. It's not just about you. It's about the whole organization and all the people that you influence, that you've built up the credibility and trust, and they're blindly following you. When it comes time to things like this, in this world that we're in now, that's changing faster than it has ever changed before, they are looking to you for help and guidance on how to adapt and acclimate and best succeed in an incredibly fast-changing world. That's what tomorrow's leader is all about. Tomorrow's leader is somebody who has that versatility to adapt and acclimate and see where the changes are going to happen and how to accomplish that vision in light of all these changing circumstances. People need help. It starts with you as a leader. So hope this was helpful. Quick one today, but a really, really important topic. Be sure to make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. Go down below, give a review. Please, very much appreciate those reviews. And keep listening, keep watching. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everybody.